Hello everybody. Just got through doing some cardio again. And like always, my mind starts wandering when I do it. But anyhow, what I was thinking of is I cannot help but notice how there seems to be an attack on effort right now. I mean, specifically when it comes to lifting weights, doing cardio, with diet. But it's also an attack on effort, when it comes to somebody's trying to better themselves, whether it be increase their income or, stop some type of addiction or stop drinking, or, they're not gonna lay in bed all the time. It's even said a long time ago that, I don't even know where they get this, but like getting up early, being on time for something was somehow racist. I'm completely clueless on that. I guess you could label, taking a dump in the morning racist if you wanted to. But I do know that in the exercise guru community, it seems to be the so-called experts are completely against all-out effort, completely against high-intensity training, low reps, heavy weight, low sets. Like I say, going to failure, giving it your all, whatever you want to call it. One more rep, 5 more pounds each workout, whatever you want to call this. But it just seems like it really irritates these people that are the so-called exercise experts. And one guy, I like to watch his videos on YouTube, Mr. America Heart. He really tries to discount, what these gurus are saying about going to failure. He's all for high intensity training. And he even showed a video the other day of this, supposed to be exercise expert, and which didn't look like it. The body did not speak to the knowledge he was supposed to have. But he was saying that 3 sets to failure is junk. And then, so he done 3 sets, and he said his last set was all out effort to failure, which anybody watching it that has taken anything to failure would know that he done like 8 reps. He had at least 5 more reps. It was laughable, his version of all out, effort, failure, whatever. And I cannot help but notice that the guys that are so against this, it's obvious they fall into certain categories. They're either, this big around and just shredded lean, which basically just a skinny dude, or they're obviously on steroids. It's not just size. There's definitely telltale signs of, people's shoulders, skin texture, the way their legs look, constant fullness, all this other stuff beyond just size. Or the other guys are these obviously on steroids, and they're what I want to call bulky fat, which they fill out a t-shirt, but they basically just look like a fat guy with big arms. They got the gut, they've got some muscle and the rest is 30, 40, 50 pounds layer of fat, covering up, the somewhat muscle that they have. So it gives them an illusion of, half their size is just a good layer of fat all over them. But people think that it's, real size, no matter if the arm is half fat, half muscle. I don't know why people cannot see through that. But that's the other end that's totally against this. They make video after video. Don't have to train as hard, don't have to go to failure. The high intensity, it's not necessary. And I say the reason they're doing this is because you basically cannot sell intensity. I could sell you some type of diet, some whatever, countdown diet. There was one diet called dog crap diet. I could say, buy my monthly subscription and you'll get the 10 secret foods that melt body fat, the 5 secret foods that build muscle like steroids, and then my exercise program to where I go on all these, it's super specific to where I'll let you in on my secret. You do this exercise, this so many percentage of this or that this week, and then this many reps this week, and then a rest week, and a low intensity, then a high intensity of fast reps, short reps, and then it goes on from that to my type of form. You've got the guys that's like the perfect form. No, you're doing seated rows. No, I have to come up to you and adjust you half an inch this way and flare your elbows out a quarter inch this way. Now look up at the ceiling. Now, stick your chest out and take a deep breath and breathe this way, and everything so specific, technique. And if you do this technique, you'll just blow up with mounds of muscle and be shredded to the bone and look like an IFBB pro that's taken 5 vials of different concoctions a day. You'll look like these people. And the reason I believe, and I see this, I have seen this for probably 5-10 years now. It's slowly progressing in the gyms. So many people, they replace effort with technique. It's if I hold one foot up in the air while I curl this dumbbell, then twist it at the top while I hold the other dumbbell contracted, and lower it down for a count of 5, and go on and on. Now if I squat down, and this technique upon technique, but no effort, no, as Dorian Yates said, which Dorian Yates admittedly, was on steroids, but there was one thing that made him at the time, everybody else who was competing against was on steroids. One thing at the time that made him stand out was, his sheer size. And he said then, to which he said his size, what contributed to his size was lower sets, good form, not like, good form, but all out effort. As he said, the last set was going to be like somebody is holding a gun to your little baby's head, and somebody's going to pull the trigger if you don't get that certain number of reps. And then the next time he hit that workout, he had to increase weight, increase reps. And like I say, I know why these guys are so against this, that this gets the saying intensity is not, this all-out effort, high-intensity workouts are not necessary, is because it gets into their little shtick, their little system that they're trying to sell. I'm not trying to sell nothing. I just want to see people not fall into the same thing that I did when I first got into this, and that was following these stupid, specific workouts by these roided up, roided out bodybuilders that could, I hate to keep harping on it, but there's a difference in somebody that is doing that and somebody that is not. They want to say that again, that it's no different. You just work out the same, whether you're juicing or not. And that's why, it's because they don't want to give up the size that they would have if they wouldn't, because then they would have to give up the notoriety that comes with that size, the false notoriety, I believe. And that is going to cut into them selling their supplement, their program, their whatever they're trying to sell, their super secret technique that they have. And I say, I've been through all that. I went through 5 years of that, of these crazy IFBB Pro of bodybuilder workouts, and all I accomplished was getting so tired. I was basically done for the rest of the day, so sore. Leg workouts, I would be so sore that I would be sore for the next leg workout a week later without gaining any size. I just knew that legs was going to blow up and didn't hardly gain nothing. And then at the same time, when I would try to diet down, I would not be able to hold on to anything that I had even gained. What little bit that I had gained, it would all go away because I was not giving the muscle the incentive to stay there. It's not giving it incentive to grow. So when I cut the calories, I sure wasn't giving it any incentive to stay there. So, and they'll go on and on about, well, I'll save that for another video. This is getting long and I'm rambling about, how they'll say the science says this, the science says that, but I'll leave that alone. But the other thing I want to say, even if that isn't somehow, which Dorian Yates has said it, Ronnie Coleman has said it, Branch Warren has said it, I guess you would say Tom Platz has said it, Arnold Schwarzenegger has said it, I can't think of it, Jeff Willett, pro natural bodybuilder, Skip LaCour, and can't think of the other one. He's Mr. Natural Olympia. He only does like 3 sets for legs, and he's huge and competes in tested, natural tested shows. He believes in all-out gut-busting effort. And at the same time, even if that wasn't the optimal way to change your appearance, people are missing out on what you get from pushing yourself and using the gym as that training ground of pushing yourself beyond limits you previously didn't think it was possible. That you can, I know of 2 specific times in the gym that has changed my my whole way of thinking of what I thought was possible, of what I thought was possible or was impossible actually was possible. And then I applied that to other things in my life, because I would go back to that for example, was very close to doing a bodybuilding show, and I think I was squatting, it's like 315 I had to squat, and I was like 3 weeks away from a show, and I had dieted so hard that I could not even stand up without almost passing out every time. I mean, I could have stood up 1,000 times that day, and every time I stood up, I would have to shut my eyes for a minute and catch myself, from passing out. And remember getting ready to do this leg workout, like saying to myself, you cannot even stand up. You can barely stand up right now. You are so calorie deprived and body fat is so low. How in the world do you plan on, squatting this 300 and some pounds multiple times and the rest of your leg workout when you're almost to the point of not being able to stand up? And I done it anyhow. Just it was my mind thinking it was telling me it was impossible, but it showed me that what I thought was impossible was not true. And the other time I was doing cardio, getting ready for contest, I remember it was like I was doing on my old recumbent bike, I was doing like, its readout in miles, I think it was 6.5 miles in 16 minutes. And I had said to myself, that is my limit. Your heart will explode if you go, 6.6 miles, 10 more feet farther. That is your limit. And getting ready for that contest pushed me to the point that I think I'd done 7.13 or 7.2 miles in 16 minutes, almost 3/4 of a mile more in the same amount of time, and just showed me that, again, what I thought was impossible, what I thought would kill me to go beyond it, I was shown again that it wasn't impossible. And I don't know how many times I have thought of other things outside of the gym. This is crazy. This is not going to work. And then I think, well, you thought that it was impossible to add that, 3/4 of a mile to your cardio. You thought that, doing those squats was impossible. And then it just pushes me on to not pay attention to what my mind is saying and try anyhow, because it might be possible. So I say that by not pushing yourself as hard as you possibly can, when you are in a gym, whether it be cardio or weights, you're not only missing out on a lot of what I say is the number one thing holding people back from changing their body, whether it be losing fat or gaining muscle. You're not only missing out on that, finding out what your genetic potential really is, and not just falling into the same old crowd that's just like, well, I got bad genetics and I guess I'll have to get on steroids to look any better. Instead of falling into that crowd, you can find out what your genetic potential is, or get as close to it as possible, and you can find out just how mentally strong you are, and then increase that mental strength. Every time you go in the gym, you can use that as a training ground for not just physical strength, but also building mental strength. So it's almost 20-minute video. Probably nobody will watch it because of that, but there, I said it. I believe that's it. Hope you have a nice day. Thank you.